Welcome back to the Money Mindset Podcast. I am your host, Sakia Scott, and I'm so excited that you're back with me. Today's episode is another solo podcast from moi, and we're going to be talking about my financial journey. I wanted you all to know my why behind why I'm so passionate about financial freedom and financial literacy, and we, uncovered that your girl had her car repossessed not once but twice. I had a credit score that was in the 500s. Now we're in the 800s. So I want to move past all of the woes. All right, maybe we'll talk about some more woes, but also share with you my practical tips to how I rebuilt my credit, how I establish healthy saving habits. What are the systems that I use? I am a systems kind of girl. That's how I run my life. So I want you to walk away with tips that you can apply to your life today, tomorrow, ASAP. Because my experience, while there was some shame and it's quite vulnerable, it really did shape who I am and why I believe in the power of financial wellness. And so we're gonna get into all the tea. I might have a few more stories for you all because outside of credit repair and having, pretty low credit score and cars repossessed, there might have been a few other mix-ups, mess-ups, but I got it together as I moved on in my 20s. So it's gonna be a great show. If you like to hear stories about how people mess up and bounce back, then this is gonna be one for you. And if you like to make money, keep money, steward your money, I'm your girl. I'm not an expert, but I'm on my way to mastering stewardship. So this is gonna be a good one. Stay close. I'm excited to share a little bit more about my journey with you all. Okay, so let's do a quick rewind of how I actually ended up in the place of 2 repossessions and a very low credit score, and then we'll move on to how I dug my way out and how your girl saves her money and invests it. So stay tuned. You're gonna get a little bit of tea from me, and be kind because this was a vulnerable one. All right, so I am gonna tell you all my money story, the reason why I'm so passionate around financial freedom, financial literacy, because I was not financially free or financially literate. I don't know if I'm financially free just yet, but we are on our journey. So I'm 35, even though I don't look it. I know I look not a day over 21. I am a millennial mama. I have 2 toddlers. I'm married. Shout out to my husband, Rodney. And I'm living right outside of New York City in Westchester County. But I'm from the Bronx, BX all day, every day. So I feel pretty good at where I'm at in life right now, but my 20s were pretty crazy, and that was my first introduction to I know nothing about money. I was feeling broke. The story about my car is probably the best one to start with. I was 20 and bought a vehicle, a brand new vehicle. So not pre-owned, not leased, not, a $2,000 old car. No, I bought like a brand new car on a college kid's salary, which was me working 20 hours a week at the mall, maybe getting paid $13 an hour. That's a stretch, but your girl wanted independence. And so I go to the car dealership in the Bronx, and I had a relative accompany me who promised to help me with the payments. Just word to the wise, if you are signing your name on the dotted line for anything, you're responsible. So if your credit's on the line, it's your credit on the line. I learned that the hard way. Now, what's so interesting about not being financially literate, I just thought that I would have to pay my car payments. $350 car payment, $280 insurance, oil change, gas. I'm sure I can manage it with a little bit of help. I did not manage it, and that's how I ended up with my car repossessed, not once, but twice. How I got the car back twice, that's a whole nother story. We'd be here all day. But the reality was I had never felt financial pressure and stress like that until I was getting calls from creditors. My insurance was lapsing. My savings was non-existent. My car got towed at least 10 times. I had a plethora of parking tickets. It was not great at all. And not only did I feel shame and just really overwhelmed, I realized I didn't know what to do. I was not financially literate. And so the one thing I did do was check my credit score. I knew enough about credit and I figured, okay, let's see what the damage is from having my car repossessed. Paying your bills on time, credit goes up. Not paying your bills on time, credit goes bad. Get your car repossessed, your credit's like annihilated. So that's when my credit was in the 500s, somewhere between 517 and 520. And that was my wake up call. Like something has to give. Now, me being me, I'm a researcher. I'm a hyperfixate on getting information about things I don't know. I knew education was power, and I heard a story from Tiffany, the budgetista, and she shared her story about going from a $500 to $850 credit score on a teacher's salary, and I was inspired. So I started doing everything I could, tracking my spending, doing the snowball method from Dave Ramsey. Any tax money I got back, I would throw some in savings, pay down debt, and I made sure I paid my bills on time. I got a secured credit card. Just so you know, secured credit cards, it basically means the credit card company says, we don't trust you, but we'll give you a chance. So you give us a deposit. We see if you actually pay your bills on time, and then we'll give you an actual credit limit. And so I had a secure card with Credit One and Capital One, I think. I still have a Capital One card, but it's much better. And I remember the first time I actually got an increased credit limit. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going somewhere. And so my infrastructure for managing finances began to shift when I understood my choices were not just me being irresponsible, but it was an absence of financial literacy. And I remember I went on a snowboarding trip with friends and I was talking to this guy who worked in finance, just like, chatting it up. And I was like, what do you love the most about your life? And he was a little older, a little more grounded. And very coolly, he said, being financially free. And I kid you not, that stayed with me. I thought to myself, that's exactly what I want, because I recognize that financial freedom was not only access to generational wealth in terms of money, it was abundance, it was health, it was accessibility. And I desired that, and I made that a core value and a commitment. I have to share that after really being diligent and consistent, I watched my credit go from a 517, 520 to currently an 817. I went from not having savings to multiple high yield savings accounts. My income increased, which absolutely helps. So yes, making more money does help, feel a little more ease. But the foundation of financial literacy and the commitment to being a student, that was a game changer. So that's what money mindset is about. That's why I am passionate about not only hosting this podcast, but building community, because I realize that when we feel empowered as a community to build wealth, we have the wisdom to do it, we desire to create legacies, that's the shift. That's where things change. So we're back. So we're all caught up, and you kind of understand how I got into the situation that I was in. So the first thing I did when it came to repairing my credit was understanding how credit works. There is your credit utilization. You ideally want to keep that under 30%, and that's how much credit you're utilizing on your credit card. So if you have a $20,000 limit and you're utilizing 30%, that means you're spending about $6,000 on your credit card, right? And so I also wanted to understand, is the goal just to pay my credit card on time, because I know that will end up as a positive credit report? Or am I paying my credit card on time and ensuring that I'm paying the statement balance in full? The answer is ensuring you're paying the statement balance in full to avoid interest. I did not always know that, because if you charge interest, it's on the balance you have. So you're not just paying off what you actually spent on the card, you're also paying the interest for not paying the balance in full. So it's very important to understand how your credit card works and what the ideal way is to use your credit card. So if you can be 30% under in your credit utilization, 10% is a sweet spot, that's great. So I did not start out immediately in that window, but the more I understood how to actually work this whole credit card situation, I became more strategic because it really is a strategy. So paying my credit card on time, I had a secured card. My secured card was me putting down $200 and the credit card company saying, let's see if we can trust you. And then it went from, okay, you've done a great job. Now you have a $300 credit limit. Now you have a $500. And from there, me proving I could pay it on time allowed me to have an increased credit limit, which felt great. So there was one of the ways I was able to actually see my healthy habits build. And I also learned how to manage credit in a way that allowed me leverage. And before, I was just out here willy nilly. So that was a practical way, and I hope you take it away, to actually ensure that you are rebuilding your credit if you're someone who's experiencing a low credit score. Outside of credit repair, I also was big on figuring out how to save my money, how to pay down debt, and also increasing my income. In my 20s, I always worked two jobs. I worked radio and retail. I had some side gig. And when I shifted in my later 20s to my full-time corporate job, the money wasn't really all that. So I definitely needed a side hustle because I was paying down debt while actively saving my money. So it was important to have multiple streams of income. And I'm not saying it was a lavish amount of multiple streams of income, but having another opportunity to earn income makes a difference. So that was my focus as I continued to grow in my career. And most recently, when I took on a new role at a very different company, I had the opportunity to earn a lot more than I was making in television. That's where I used to work, so I let it out. That's why I'm on here. And it really did change my financial trajectory. So I was not only able to significantly pay down debt, but I was able to significantly save and actually have flexibility to invest, which is definitely the goal if you want to see compound interest, watch your money grow. But when you feel like you're living paycheck to paycheck, all your money is very tight, all of your money is going towards bills or paying down credit card or student loan debt or whatever debt you might have, the idea of saving money, investing money can seem daunting. So increasing your streams of revenue is a huge support. Increasing the money that you're earning every year, getting a promotion, looking for new opportunities. You never want to just have one stream of income. If you're in a two-family at home, that's great. But having a side hustle, especially for all your hustles out there, it definitely makes a difference, and it gives you the opportunity to have flexibility with your money. So that was something that was pretty transformative for me because honestly, I always felt so strapped, and that's because I was paying down a lot of debt. The snowball method was a huge help. I believe Dave Ramsey might have coined that. Don't come for me if he didn't. But it really means that you're going to pay the smallest debt that you have first and then target the next and the next until you're dealing with the largest piece of debt. And so that was something that I was doing while I was increasing my income. I was getting rid of the debt that was just sort of sitting, and I was throwing $200, $300 at it. I got an extra bonus, I got promotion, I got extra stock, whatever that looked like, I threw it at debt, and I was able to then flex my money around to actually invest. So increasing your income, definitely a game changer. back, and I've been talking about systems. I'm kind of an operational girly. I'm type A when I need to be, type B on the average day. So basically, I'm type C. But when it comes to my money, I am type A, and systems have helped me so much. So let's go through my 5 systems that have anchored me and really stabilized my finances. So first up is high yield savings accounts. If you're not familiar with a high yield savings account, they're different from your traditional savings where you really earn like maybe 1% in terms of interest on the money that you put in that savings account. High yield savings has a variable interest rate. So it can vary month to month, quarter to quarter. It can go as high as, 4.5, 4.8, 5%. 5% is pretty high. I think the average right now is like 3.3%. During COVID, the interest rates were quite high. But I have Ally and I have Barclays. Ally is amazing because it has buckets, so you can create your goals like my vacation goal, my school goal, my out with my friends goal, Christmas, the holidays, all the things, and actually set up auto savings for money to automatically go into that. So we have a bucket for our daughter's birthdays and for their college fund, and we watch the money just pile up over time by putting small increments, $25 a check, $50 a check. And that has been a tremendous help because it's an automatic discipline that I don't have to worry about, and it divides all my money. And so Barclays has been amazing as well as one of our other high yield savings accounts. So we keep most of our emergency fund. And since there's a significant amount there, we have earned an interest over time well over $3,000, which is so much more than you would get with the traditional high yield savings account. So those are my favorite. Next up are my credit cards. I know I talked about being, in credit card debt, not as much debt, but just trying to figure that out. Now that I'm on the other side, I'm very strategic when it comes to credit cards. So I am a Capital One girly. I use my Capital One Saver for all of my groceries. I get about 3% back. Got to check if that's still the right amount. My point is I get cash back for spending my money in the grocery store, at the gas station. I have my Venture X card, which is great for travel. So I got TSA pre-check essentially for free. They reimbursed me because that was a part of the perk of the Venture X. I also get into the lounges. Now, the Venture X does have an annual fee, but when you do the math on all of the perks, you have paid whatever you pay annually doesn't even pale in comparison to all the perks you get. And then my Amazon Prime, that is my go-to. We order from Amazon for unfortunately everything. It is what it is. We are consumers and it makes our lives easy. I've earned so much cash back with that. So being strategic with your credit cards can be a great money saver if you understand how to use them. All right, next up is what is my favorite go-to? It's my automation system. What do I mean by that? My auto savings. So I have set up for myself, for my mental health, for my own discipline, every paycheck, I have a specific amount that goes into my traditional savings account, my high yield savings account, my Barclays savings accounts, and then, like I shared about Ally Bank, the money that I position in the right places will go into each bucket. So on average, I could be saving $700 to $800 without even noticing, but that might sound a lot. Let me just pull it back. I save as small as $25 a month sometimes for a specific bucket. But if you're like, that sounds like a lot, you can start by just saving $15, $20, $50. The point is that it's automatic. You don't look at it. You pretend like it doesn't exist. Go back and check on it quarterly, see how much money you've actually piled up, and see what the interest has benefited you. All right, so my next up is maximizing perks. I was talking to you all about my credit cards and the benefits that I've experienced. Learning how to utilize what's in your financial toolbox is something that's going to make your life better, and it doesn't have to feel scary. You don't have to feel like, oh, I don't trust myself with a credit card, with auto savings. No, you want to make sure when you're maximizing your perks, you are doing your education. And if we're talking about credit cards, then we want to know what are the perks, what are the benefits, how much is it, TSA PreCheck, like I shared, was such a game changer. Lounge access, you know how much you spend in airports? So to have a credit card that gives you lounge access or one of those passport cards where you can get into lounges, you honestly get free food, free drinks, an area to work from, literally it is worth the money when you actually do the math, but take the time to do the math. Don't just look at the annual cost of that credit card or whatever system you have at face value. Really take time and actually do the calculations on how you can benefit from making a small investment initially. And I think that's what I really want to level set on, being aware of what you're spending, not being afraid to check your account. So I have all of my alerts every time I use my credit card, my debit card, boom, right there on my phone. Like, you just spent $3, you just spent $17, this charge just came in. And I am doing regular audits. So I'm not hiding from what I'm spending. I know it's me. I know it's me spending a little extra on the weekends, but I'm holding myself accountable by actively going through my checking account, my savings account, checking on my credit cards, what has been spent, do I have all of my dates saved for payments? The days of your bills, when your bills are due, put it on auto pay. I know, like, y'all don't trust those companies, I get it, but we also have a lot to keep up with. And I would hate for anyone to have a ding on their credit report because they missed paying for something on time. So putting those systems in place, at least for me, has been a significant help to take some of the extra work off of me and create those disciplines that didn't come naturally for me. And honestly, it gave me a lot more confidence. Okay, we're back. This felt like a therapy session. Let me just say that. Sharing so vulnerably and so honestly, and also sharing what I've put in practice has honestly given me a little boost because I always feel like there's more I can do. And there is more, but I will say the biggest lesson I have learned is not avoiding my relationship with money and not allowing shame to make me feel like I need to deal with it all inside or just like not ask any questions and just hope that things guidance, because money feels suffocating if you are dealing with it in a scarcity mentality, if you are honestly just scarce, like you're like the money is not there. The idea of even checking your account can feel daunting, worrying about if you have enough to cover a payment or if there's going to be a subscription payment that's going to put you in a negative, or if you're on the line getting groceries and you got to quickly switch from savings to checkings and it's like that little bit of money that I was saving, now I have to change it. So when I think about the lessons, the first step really for me was to accept that it's okay that I didn't know. It's okay that I'm learning, but I don't want to avoid it. And there's always a solution. It's math. Like, you can always figure it out. You can always figure out a hustle. But the other piece of paying yourself first, so going back to savings, is critical. And it is a mindset shift. It is so easy to think I don't have anything extra, but honestly, $5 can go to your Apple Music, your Spotify, your Netflix, whatever you were going to spend that $5 or $10 on. Remove that and make that a part of your saving to work that muscle of discipline. You will feel so confident when you look at your account and you're like, wait, I saved like $500 just from saving that $10 every month that I felt like I couldn't save. And from there, you start shifting into, I can do this. I'm actually going to save more. I'm actually going to play around with investing. Maybe I'll check out the Acorns app. Maybe I will see if I can invest $20 in, a penny stock. Like, whatever it might be, you realize that there are more options. And when you start talking about money to people, folks share. They share what worked for them, they share what didn't work for them. So those are the lessons that I've learned at this point, to know that I don't have to figure it out alone, but holding myself accountability. So another piece of it is not doing alone means you need a community who can support you in your money journey. For me, it's been Guapify. Guapify is all about financial freedom and empowerment, specifically for millennials and Black millennials who are really struggling to meet that moment of being able to buy a home and to invest. And so having access to experts in the money space who look like me and sound like me, that has been a real benefit. So finding the right community for you, finding the right resources, going on Reddit, going on Facebook, getting plugged in with a money community where you can crowdsource information as well, where you can ask vulnerably, that's gonna make a difference. Because when you feel like you are just drowning in debt or drowning just in uncertainty or what you don't know, you kind of lose the desire to even ask or connect. But accountability has a lot to do with community. So get plugged into a community. Guapify has been one for me, and I'm really thankful for it. And before Guapify, it was Facebook groups, it was Reddit groups, it was asking my friends who were better at money, it was asking peers, it was asking my mom, it was talking to people about what was happening, because it broke the shame. And there's a lot of shame with money. There's a lot of flexing when folks have money too. But something else I really want to just double back on, it's one thing to have money. You have to be a good steward of it. So having these systems in place and this knowledge of how to manage money is critical. Because if you win the lotto tomorrow and you don't manage it, you'll net. Like, you'll have $1 million and lose $1 million. So that's not the goal, right? So I hope that you all were encouraged by me sharing openly. And if there's anything I want you to do, here's a couple of takeaways. If you don't have a savings account, open up a free savings account with your bank and start auto saving. I don't care if it's $1, $2, start saving your money. Look into opportunities to maximize your perks if you have credit cards. Start investing if you are interested in taking a little extra change and making that money work for you and you like compound interest. But pay yourself first and check your bank account, check your spending habits, get rid of the subscriptions, create systems for yourself. Start small, don't get overwhelmed. If you do one thing that I said and it's helpful for you, I will feel like my experience was totally worth it, and I'm rooting for you because it's starting at the first step and seeing where you go from it. So this was Money Mindset. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening to me. Love talking with you all. And pay yourself first, keep your money in your pocket, find community, keep it disciplined. Have a great night.